Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake of robertoblake.com helping you create something awesome today. So today we're going to talk about buying a DSLR camera for under $500. There's so many of you who are out there and you want to get into DSLR video, whether you want to be an indie filmmaker, whether you want to make YouTube videos like this one, you need to find a budget DSLR camera and you don't know what to do. This video is going to actually help you with that. Even if you're a photographer or an aspiring photographer that needs a budget camera, I'm going to give you some practical advice on how to buy something affordable in your budget as far as a camera body, and that will give you a lot more money to invest in glass. So we'll talk about this both from the perspective of a photographer and somebody who's shooting video. If you're shooting DSLR video, you can actually get by without having to invest a lot in the glass, so that gives you a little bit more flexibility on the capabilities for your camera body. If you're shooting video, you might actually have to worry about certain specs, like whether or not it can shoot 60 frames per second in 1080p, which would mean for action shots, you'll be able to do things like speed up and slow-mo. If you plan to shoot music videos, you plan to shoot documentaries, this kind of thing could actually matter, so the camera body might be very important. But if you're shooting photography, you don't have to worry about those specs as much. Megapixels don't really matter unless you're in situations where you feel you would need to crop in. So buying the most expensive camera body you can isn't going to really help you there. You might want to pay attention to the ISO range if you're shooting in low light situations. But again, really good glass could help you just get the most out of that regardless of the camera body. So that's kind of how we're going to preface things in this video. So let's start with photographers. If you're a first-time photographer, or you're even experienced, but you're moving to a DSLR camera for the first time for whatever reason, then I'm going to recommend that if you have a budget of $500, you get something like the Canon Rebel T5i, or you get something like the Nikon D3300, or even the D32, D31 if you want to save a lot of money and go higher on your glass out of your budget. I'm kind of making the assumption that you have $1,000 or less overall, and so I'm trying to save you as much money on the camera body as possible. If you get the older Nikon camera bodies that, still have the compatibility for the lenses and so on and so forth, something modern, something with a decent ISO range, you'll be fine because you're going to find a lot of these bodies under $300. You're going to find kits for them under $500. And sometimes you can get a kit for $500 that will have the 18 to 55 and the 50 to 200 as far as lenses. So that'll give you a really great amount of coverage for your photography, or even if you want to expand into video. So that's something to think about. For $500, you can have everything you need as a beginner to at least start learning. Now, if you really want good glass, you can go ahead and you can spend less on the body. You can get them for about maybe $300, and if you have $1,000 in your budget, you've got $700 for glass now. What I would do with that is I would get a 50mm lens, and I would look at getting a third-party lens from someone like Sigma, and I would get the probably 17 to 50mm f2.8 lens. This is going to be great for shooting in low light situations. You're going to have a fixed aperture so that you don't have to worry about changing your shutter speeds and messing up your exposure as a photographer. This is going to be great for you. It's also going to be great if you decide to shoot DSLR video. Obviously, there are comparable models from Canon. You can go ahead and get something like the Rebel T5i. The Canon bodies are going to be a little bit more expensive than the Nikon bodies, even if you get the older ones. Same thing for the glass, so just keep that in mind. I would say that if you're prioritizing photography, then Nikon might be a more comfortable fit for you. If you're prioritizing DSLR video, you might be more comfortable with Canon. Both work perfectly fine regardless of which one you're doing. That's just a preference that I've noticed among people who do either or. As someone who does both, I have no problem with both camera bodies as far as brands go. Both have performed admirably in every situation that I've used them in. Also, if you want to get another brand, I could recommend Olympus very easily, as well as Pentax. You don't necessarily have to go Canon or Nikon, but if you're doing commercial work, there might be some benefits to going that route. Now, for those of you shooting DSLR video, some of the technical specs are going to matter a lot more to you than they might to a photographer. For example, knowing whether or not you have an audio input jack to be able to get clear audio through a microphone, whether that's a boom or a shotgun mic or a lapel mic, that can be very important, especially if you're shooting YouTube videos or documentaries, or if you're doing indie filmmaking. The in-camera audio is going to be terrible, so you want to be able to use an external audio source. Being able to plug a microphone directly into the camera means you won't have to edit so much in post. If that's what you're looking for, the minimum as far as a Nikon, you have to get the D3200. The 3100 and below do not have an audio input jack, so that's what you're going to want to do. If you need a flip out screen for a DSLR camera, then you'll want to go with the Nikon D50-200 and higher. The new Nikon D50-500, which I've thought about upgrading to for this channel, is tremendous. It has touchscreen, it has a flip out screen, and it has the audio input jack, so that's going to be very helpful to you if you're primarily focused on video. That camera body is a little bit more expensive than what we've been talking about, but if you get it refurbished, even though it's practically brand new, you can get it for around $500. I will have links to the best deals for DSLR cameras, whether it be for photography or video, that are under $500 in the description below, so make sure you're checking out those links because that will help you out and it will help me out since those are my Amazon affiliate links. Some of my final thoughts on buying a budget DSLR camera under $500 is really think about how you're going to be using the camera. Think about what you really need from it. Is it primarily going to be photography or video or both? Because that's going to inform your buying decision. Also think about what the investment needs to be in glass. If you're shooting video, you don't have to spend nearly as much money in glass in a lot of situations. I would recommend having the kit lens and a 35mm or 50mm lens at f1.8. As much as people talk about, how important glass is, for video it's a lot less than you might think. I've been shooting these videos with the kit lens in most cases, so you can see the quality for yourself. It's a matter of really understanding your camera and what the settings are capable of. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you still have questions, leave those in the comment section. I'll try and answer as many of them as I can. Anyway, like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other awesome content on the channel. As always, you guys, thanks so very much for watching, and don't forget, create something awesome today, preferably with your new camera.